The Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. From Barbados to Africa, voices unite. Educate minds, elevate sight. It's the Marcia Weekes Show. Talk truth, build roots, stories unfold. Mobilize, change, mobilize is the mode, that's the MR code. Hey! We growing, we know it.
Good night, ladies and gentlemen. Good night, and we are coming to you from Barbados, live from Barbados. This is the Marcia Weekes Show. I am Marcia Weekes. We are coming to you live from the beautiful country of Barbados. And you just heard the national anthem of Barbados. And tonight we're asking questions. The questions Barbadians are asking, whether it is about our black belly sheep, we also have some questions to Ephraim Ali, the president of Guyana, and we have you would have seen my Facebook page. There are pictures that we put out concerning this, and we have one here for the show. And this is where we're going to call him. What should we call him? Farmer Brown. Okay, we're going to call him Farmer Brown, and this is his black belly sheep farm. Now, we're told he has 200. That's what it's alleged that he has. We're going to deal with this at the beginning of the program. We're going to look on the other side of the black belly sheep story, all right? The other side of the black belly sheep story, that is what is coming up at 7:10 this evening. We're going to start part 1 at 7:10, and then we're going to go at the end of the program at about 9:15 or so, we will start part 2 All right, so we're doing it in two parts because we have so many other issues to deal with in Barbados. In our health corner, we have Maurice Gaskin is going to be joining us in our health corner tonight, and he is going to continue to teach us about mosquitoes. You need to see me going around the whole of my of this property, making sure that everything is emptied, no water, because that's what we do on the Marcia Weekes Show. We educate, we motivate, we mobilize, and we agitate. Yeah. And right after him, we go into our legal corner. And in our legal corner, we are going to look at the 3 requirements of a will. The 3 requirements of a will. Have you been learning anything from Corey Beckles? Listen, you don't want to miss it tonight. You don't want to miss it tonight. The 3 requirements of a will. And guess who is here? You want to guess? It's Monday. Who has been missing for 3 weeks? Dr. Derek Alleyne is here. And it's all about the Constitution, folks. It's all about us being a republic. He is going to rip into that. You don't want to miss it. You need to take the time now and share in your WhatsApp groups, okay? And then as soon as it's finished, we're going to go back into this Guyana issue, the black belly sheep issue, and we're looking on the other side of the black belly sheep issue. Yeah, we're going right into Guyana tonight, folks. That's what we're going to do. So let me just take a moment and welcome Judy Jukes. Carol, good evening. Sharon, good evening. Teroni, I wouldn't be able to call everybody's name tonight. Bajan Boy and Mavis Lashley. And as I am greeting you all because of time, David's just going to put up that FIFA World Cup community initiative that is happening, Mavis. Jacqueline, on the 19th is going to be our second community initiative, Our Fathers. And Mildred, it is the watch the FIFA World Cup finals with Dad. Anybody been following the World Cup? Who is going to be in the finals? Oh my God, everybody said it will be France and somebody else. Well, we are inviting fathers. So I know for the dinner we said fathers who are 40 years and under. For this, it is fathers. Are you a dad? You could be 75 years old. Are you a dad? All you've got to do is to give me a call, 236-7000, and say, Marcia, can you put my name, reserve a space for me? All right, reserve a space for me because it's catered. Okay, Marcia and Lori Bob. Yeah, it is catered. And so, Lori, we want everybody to call in 236-7000. Now, I need to say Lori Bob. Lori Bob. I got it. Now, Lori Bob and Joy and Faith, if you are out there, you're a female and you want to serve on this day. You want to help with the serving of the food on the day, please call me. We need people. We are looking for at least 5 volunteers, 5 women who are going to volunteer to help to serve, because you already know, the men already tell me they don't want to be serving, right? They will come and help before, but they don't want to be serving. So I need 5. How many of you will call me and say, Marcia, I want to volunteer? And then we're looking for financial donations, as we always do. We're trying to find a way to Annette, to do this, that it is not very costly. All right, but we do need to pay for that screen. So if you want to help to pay for the screen, call me as well, Lucinda, Cami, Calendar, everybody. This is our community initiative. I'm a big girl, as you know. I'm a big girl also joins us for prayer. As you know, we are about change. We educate, we motivate, we mobilize, we agitate. I can tell you there are a couple of these fathers whose children are also in the Elevate Stamp Out Illiteracy program. Can you believe that? And that I'm speaking to, every couple of days. So we are keeping in touch with them. And we want some of the older fathers involved to provide mentorship. So we're opening it up as well to fathers. You could be 75 years old. You want to come and watch the football, and we're just going to take care of you while you do that. You could come with your grown children. Hey, Sonia, you're going to help us out. I'm a big girl. Can you come and help to serve? If you want to come and help serve. Hey, Hugh. Hugh, you love do you like the FIFA World Cup? If that's you and you want to come and have a family time, community family time, John Clark, you can come on out. Are you a father? Come on out and let us spend the time together. The females who want to come out to serve, please, know that you're free to do that. We need your help. And those of you who want to donate financially to it, we need your help as usual. You know how it is, all right? Yeah. Sharon says, old MacDonald had a farm, E-I-E-I-O. And on that farm, he had some black belly sheep, E-I-E-I-O, with a bar here and a bar there, here a bar, there a bar, everywhere a bar. I tell you, listen, the jokes, they don't end. They don't end, As much as I try to tell everybody, take it seriously, people, we're Caribbean people. We're still finding the humor in all of this. And, that allows me to segue into the other side of the black belly sheep story. And somebody might say, Marcia, why are you talking about Guyana? Why is that? Why is that necessary? Did you hear that they said that they're going to start, they're going to start drilling in Barbados for oil? There's a lot of talk about oil. And if you are going to say we're only going to focus on what's happening in Barbados, you are wrong. You are wrong. I'm telling you, these are the same people. It's the same people. It is because of that relationship that our prime minister and this government has with Ifran Ali, the president of Ghana, why our 1,000 black belly sheep were sent to Guyana. Do you understand? So if you are not looking at what is happening in Guyana, the politics in Guyana, the politics in Barbados, now you're not understanding yet what is happening. And so tonight, for the last several days, we have been asking one simple question. And so tonight, we're continuing to ask, what happened to our black belly sheep? That's all we're asking. President Ifran Ali, what has happened to our black belly sheep? We want to know. We're told that the 1,000 black belly sheep, they've now turned into 5,000. Can we have some pictures? We want to see some pictures. We saw black belly sheep on your ranch. So can we get those pictures? Please. You said when you come back from the CARICOM summit that you will deal with it. I would like to see some pictures. So tonight we cross the Caribbean Sea because the other side of the story is unfolding in beautiful Guyana, beautiful place. And while this story belongs to Guyana, or this part of the story belongs to Guyana, it matters to Barbados because, you guessed it, our black belly sheep, they're part of the story. I wonder if they're listening right now. Or they've kicked the bucket, as the Guyanese have been telling me. So before we delve into the other side of the story, what's happening in Guyana, let me make something clear from the outset here, guys, that this segment tonight, part one, has a combination of confirmed facts. And what's confirmed, I will tell you it's confirmed. Then there are public statements. And there are allegations that are made by political figures that are in Guyana's opposition. Okay? We have not independently verified those allegations. We've spoken to people in Guyana, and they are repeating what is on social media. Okay, but I want to be clear and to be as transparent with you as possible. What is confirmed, we're going to say confirmed. What are allegations? We're going to call them allegations. Okay. But we're reporting them because they have become a major political issue in Guyana. And of course, because they relate to a program, a regional program, agricultural program involving Barbados. There's one fact that is no longer in dispute. President Irfan Ali has publicly acknowledged that he owns a large private ranch and that he owns black-belly sheep. So we're not debating here whether the ranch exists. The debate is about everything surrounding it. According to Guyana's opposition, the ranch reportedly covers approximately 150 acres and is worth billions of Guyana dollars. So the opposition politicians, and I'm grateful for them, really, because Guyana, be grateful that you have an opposition. Be grateful, because I can tell you that if you did not have a leader of the opposition and a man who is doing the kind of work that he's doing, I'm watching him this evening live. He's behaving as though it's an election. And I know there are lots of controversy surrounding him, but we're not talking about him tonight at those controversies, because sometimes we like to use one thing to negate the next. No, we are talking about what is happening in Guyana with the president of Guyana. What are confirmed facts and what are allegations, and how that affect us in Barbados. Now, the opposition politicians question how such a significant private agricultural enterprise remained largely outside public discussion until a few days ago, when the leader of the opposition, Mr. Mohammed, made it public. And I'm asking the same question because in Mr. Irfan Ali's reply, when he confirmed that, he owns this ranch and he owns black-belly sheep, he said that he loves agriculture and, this is supposed to be something to inspire others, etc. But the thing is that you've had it all these years. I have to ask the question. I'm not, I'm just asking you, why wasn't it used for that? I've seen the Prime Minister for Trinidad and Tobago, when he was Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, who some might say he's also corrupt. That's what some people think. But I saw him many times in his garden. And you could tell he's trying to get people to, to plant and to be involved in food security. I've seen the other, that allegedly corrupt Prime Minister of Jamaica. He's in his garden and he is, picking fruits. He's showing you, the honey he got from his garden. There's a whole, you could go on his page and you see all of that. We have not seen anything from you. I might be wrong, President Ali. You probably have put these things out. So if you could just, somebody who's listening, send me the message, 236-7000. Show me the pictures that were put up before. Why was it never showcased as an agricultural success story until it became the subject of political scrutiny? Now he's saying when he gets back from CARICOM, he's going to do a tour and the media can be there. It would have been probably more beneficial if you did it before. Now, remember, though, that these are political allegations and political questions, right? The opposition has also raised questions about the government's black belly sheep program, emphasis on the word program. This, as far as we know, was not a personal thing between Mr. Alley and the government of Barbados. It's a program between the two countries. They allege that hundreds of millions of Guyana dollars were allocated to the program and have questioned the contracts, the infrastructure, and the expenditure. Because what they're seeing right now, it's it doesn't make sense with the money that has been spent, and they can't find the sheep. They know, as far as the opposition is concerned, you have 200 sheep on your ranch, Mr. Ali, President Ali. Now, there is another issue that is quite important. And because this so reminds me of Barbados, and I think it's important for us to deal with this. The government of Guyana has introduced amendments to the Former President Benefits and Other Facilities Act. So they have an act called the Former President's Benefits and Other Facilities Act. Now, what the opposition has found, right, that this act will provide extensive benefits to former presidents. You want to hear what these benefits are? State-funded electricity, state-funded water, medical benefits, government-maintained vehicles, technical and clerical staff, security, tax concessions. And I must add that the government has defended this legislation. The opposition in Guyana believe that these benefits are excessive. And they believe that some of these benefits, this is what the opposition believes, that it's going to help the president, the current president, when he leaves office, with the ranch. Right? Now, the ranch is located at a place called Long Creek. And I think Dave has a video that I'm going to ask him to put up for me. And what is striking about Long Creek actually has nothing to do with sheep and cow or anything like that. It has to do with ordinary people. And this is where I want Barbadians to listen carefully. Listen carefully in this part 1. We're going to do part 2 later in the program at about 9:15, 9:30 tonight. Reports have emerged that residents of Long Creek, the community where the president's ranch, that he has there, 150 acres, that he has said he has it, where the president's ranch is reportedly located, have complained about living for years without reliable electricity. Now, we're going to look at that video, but at the same time, the photographs circulating, they publicly appear to show electrified agricultural facilities at the ranch. So it appears that the sheep and the cow, they have electricity, they have running water. In fact, they have a new road that's been cut. But I saw some videos today where the leader of the opposition had to walk by foot to get to the residence. And the residents, they walk by foot, and most of them is a poor community, no transportation. If those reports are accurate, the contrast raises obvious public questions. How can an oil-producing nation still have communities without reliable electricity? How can ordinary families still be struggling while the country enjoys unprecedented oil revenues? I think those are legitimate questions being asked inside Guyana. Let us take a look at the video. Go ahead, Dave. Okay, the video, it's okay. I am sticking as well. Okay, we're having some internet challenges. Give us a moment and let's try to fix this internet issue. Good night. Good night. Good night. Can you hear me? Are you hearing me? Good night. Good night. Seem to be still having that problem. Am I still sticking? Can somebody let me know? Okay, so we're still sticking.
And this country got some really stupid people, really.
Guyana got some stupid people, boy. Yeah. Yo, we live from the Long Creek Sea. Everything I read, or is it? Wake up early, switch on the news. The land get a makeover. Me lose me shoes, 150 acres. Look how it expand from a small time plot to the biggest in the land. Me see it on the low, see the poultry row. Where the money come from, nobody know. The opposition calling the video release, while the ranch getting bigger, breaking all the peace. Farmer man, biggest farmer in the land. Cow, sheep, chicken, archer, everything the farmer plant. Farmer man, tell me, make me a understand. Yesterday a public servant, today a millionaire. Farmer man. Me ask the question, how you milk the cow? Parliament start at 9, you at the ranch now. Budget playing chicken lane, people scratching bro. How the infrastructure build so fast and now 22 bill, that's a massive side. While the rest of the country struggle for the light. The cattle getting fat, the grass look green. Best business model that the world ever seen. Is it state land, is it private gain? Everybody looking, trying to explain. One man farming while the nation cry. While the satellite camera watch from the sky. Farmer, biggest farmer in the land. Cow, sheep, chicken, orchard, everything the farmer plant. Farmer man, tell me, make me understand. Yesterday a public servant, today a millionaire. Farmer man, from the desk to the dirt, from the tie to the shirt. Get the ledger, get the plan. Who the real boss of the farmer man? Farmer man. Farmer man.
Hello, hello. Hi, hello. We're still having some challenges. I can see that I'm delayed. Can you hear me? Having challenges, guys. Can you hear me? No.
Yesterday, I released substantial evidence in meticulous detail of the most corrupt president Guyana has ever had, President Irfan Ali, and his hidden 150-acre luxury ranch estate worth more than $5 billion located along the Linden Highway. As leader of the opposition, I am now publicly calling for his immediate resignation from the office of the presidency. The Guyanese people deserve better, and you are not a leader for the people. It is a shame to see that the leaders of the PPP have destroyed the party of a true son of the soil, Dr. Chedi Jagan. I have been receiving an outpouring of calls and messages from farmers, from housewives, from cattle ranchers, from Guyanese from every walk of life about their outrage and literally fed up with the massive
problems up here. I need help.
Including the president. Added to the massive corruption of President Irfan's ranch and more exposure to be made public, I want to bring to your attention this obscene former president's benefit bill that he is trying to pass in Parliament. Fellow Guyanese, I want you to understand how serious this is and why every Guyanese should be outraged and protest against this. The corrupt PPP government calls for Parliament to resume for one of two reasons only. One, to approve additional funding for their large corrupt deals after they have squandered out all the money that was passed by Parliament, and they need more. And secondly, to pass bills such as this repulsive and greedy benefit bill, which is only for two people in this entire country. Former President and now Vice President Jack Dio, and current President Irfan Ali. And now we know exactly why President Irfan is amending the current bill, which currently entitles him and all other former presidents with the benefit of 7/8 of the salary of the sitting president and many other benefits. Now, the most corrupt president, President Irfan, wants to put an additional burden on the Guyanese people to amend the bill to fund his lavish lifestyle of unlimited spending on the backs of the Guyanese people. This is what President Irfan wants for himself only: unlimited payments of water, electricity, and telephone services at their residences, personal household staff, including an attendant and a gardener, clerical and technical staff upon request, free medical treatment or reimbursement of medical expenses for themselves and their dependent family members, full-time personal security, and the services of the Presidential Guard Service at their residence, state-owned and maintained motor vehicles, toll-free road transportation throughout Guyana, an annual vacation allowance equivalent to the cost of 2 first-class return airfares. And the most vulgar request of his new bill is tax-exempt status for life. These boys want to live like Maharajas. What this means is that if the electricity bill for a sprawling ranch is $100 million for the year, you, the Guyanese people, have to pay that. His sprawling man-made circuit creek that he made, which costed around $60 million, you will have to maintain that creek, meaning you will have to pay for the maintenance. The tax-exempt status for life attributes him to put the ordinary farmers out of business with his massive corrupt agricultural investment. The fishermen, the cash crop farmers, even the business community, I hope you are paying keen attention, because you will also suffer and be put out of business. Irfan could import animals, equipment, machinery, vehicles, building materials, and other business inputs without paying a cent, while the farmers and business owners must pay. That is unfair competition. From the largest piece of machinery needed for any business, even down to a single screw, he could get those tax-free. He can bring in a jet tax-free, all at the expense of taxpayers. As president, I will not approve this excessive spending on the Guyanese people and will continue to use my existing salary for humanitarian work for the people. Another problem with this bill is the way it talks about a former president's home. It says the residence, but it never tells us exactly what that means. Is it one house? Is it the main house where the former president lives? Or if a former president owns 2 or 3 homes, are taxpayers expected to pay all of them? The 2015 law was much clearer. It spoke about the former president's habitual place of residence in Guyana. So everybody understood it meant one main home. The health provisions in the bill raise another uncomfortable question. When Jagdi or Irfan cough too hard, they do not go to the Georgetown Public Hospital. Never. Our healthcare system is no good for them. They travel to India and other countries for treatment. President Irfan is serving his 2nd term, and the Constitution limits a president to 2 elected terms. Irfan knows his time as president is coming to an end, and he is putting measures in place to have taxpayers mine him till he's dead. I have even received information that President Irfan is stealing electricity for his massive luxury estate. Can you believe that? I want to emphasize again, don't let President Irfan and his cabals try to defend his massive corruption. It is impossible for a man who has been a public servant all his life to amass 150 acres of land and a more than $5 billion luxury estate. Also, I heard Irfan is trying to get a bank that he is very close to cook the books like if he took a loan. You understand what I'm trying to say? He's trying to get a bank to cook the books, to backdate like if he took a loan. And we all know that when you take a loan, you have to pay every month an interest, especially when a business is not generating money, when you're at now the developing stage.
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? He's trying to cook the...
Listen, folks, this is important. It is important because, one, it involves our black belly sheep is involved in all of this. And we are told that we are going to start our oil exploration. All right, it's going to start in Barbados, and we need to understand. So we're going to come back. This is part 1, and we've gone over 10 minutes into Mr. Gaskin's time because of the technical issues that we've been having. I know some of you, you're not seeing me on Facebook for whatever reason. It is not happening on Facebook. We're going to do our best to try to get it happening on one of my Facebook pages. It's not registering there. Usually when I do anything like this is what happens. So we're going to go back and we're going to work on that while the show is going on. But we're going to come back to this issue, guys, at about 9:15, 9:20 tonight. We are going to do the part 2 of this. I am not letting go of it. Okay. So we're going to come back. But right now we are dealing with stuff home. This is our health corner, you all. And we have Maurice Gaskin with us. And he is going to be educating us all about mosquitoes and what we need to do, especially now that we're seeing the rain. A lot of rain is happening, and I know start to feel mosquitoes. So let's go over to welcome Mr. Gaskin. Welcome. Good night.
Good evening, Marcia.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening to everyone locked on to the Marcia Weekes Show. Since I was doing the show, I have been met with a lot of persons who were in tune with the show, and they have been asking some questions. And you're correct, we're getting some rain, lots of rain. Even today we had a lot of rain. And once we're getting a lot of rain, obviously you're going to get a lot of mosquito breeding.
Yes.
So what I want to begin by saying, there's a plant called the bromeliad plant. Bromeliad, Bromeliad. And this is a nice purple yellowish plant that has like a cup that collects a lot of rainwater.
Wow.
And these plants are known to breed a considerable amount of mosquitoes because they retain water. So we have been going around asking persons to remove these plants from around the premises. I remember when I was in Warrens, I had asked one of the business places there in Warrens to remove them. And within 2 days, the company had all them removed because if you pull up 4 or 5 of these, 5 or 6 of these plants, and you empty the water from these plants, you can actually have full of a bucket with water. And if you don't want to remove the plant, the bromeliad plant, then you need to treat it with a little salt, not too much, or even some bleach, or even some mosquito dunks. If you want to or the aquatine, if you want to retain these plants. But if you don't want to treat them with the aquatine or the dunks or some bleach or a little salt, then you need to remove these plants. It's called the bromeliad plant, and we're having a lot of issues with this plant. Second thing I want to speak about, persons have been asking me, how is it possible to die from dengue? We have had about 60 deaths from dengue in the last 20 to 25 years. And how you die, let me use myself as an example. Mosquitoes, dengue comes in what you call 4 serotypes. 4, S-E-R-O, serotypes. So you get serotype 1, 2, 3, and 4. So let me show you how.
Mr. Gaskin, is this a plant that you were referring to called the
I cannot see it too well. It is a plant that has like a cup. This don't resemble it. No, this don't resemble it from what I'm seeing. No.
Okay, how do you spell that? Do you know the spelling of it? We want to at least show the people the picture of it.
B-R-O-M.
Yes.
E-L.
Yes.
I-A-D. I think that's the spelling. B-R-O-M. Bromel. E-L-I-A-D. Bromeliad. And there are well, this is one of the species of it, but
it's a different species, right?
Right.
Okay.
There are a lot of species of it, but this is not the main species that I usually find. But this is one of them.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, let's continue, please.
Pardon?
You can continue, please.
Right. So say that, of course, around this time with all the rain falling and so on, You get dengue. This is one also. This one that we're seeing is one of the species of the plant. But with all the rain falling now, and you have persons with dengue, what happens is that someone with dengue fever, the mosquito, the female mosquito, not the male, go and bite that person. It takes the blood from that person along with the dengue fever virus from that person. And if that mosquito now come and bite me, it actually transfer the virus and the person blood to me. So within the virus then works through my body. And after about 5 to 8 days, then I start feeling sick. So this first sickness that I'm feeling is as a result of one of the serotypes. So it could be serotype 1, it could be 2, 3, or 4. And that first virus, we refer to that as classical dengue fever virus. Classical dengue fever virus. So say I had dengue type 2. I would have some symptoms like headache, fever, joint pains, nausea, retroorbital pain in the eyes. When I move my eyes, they hurt, conjunctivitis, cold in my eyes, and so on. So my body then builds up immunity to that dengue type 2 against any of the other 3 viruses, the type 1, 3, and 4. I will not be able to contract any of those viruses within a 6-month period. So the virus then lasts in my body for at least a year to 18 months. And if within that year to 18 months, I'm bitten again by a mosquito carrying the virus, and I have another strain, another serotype, say serotype 4, it means that within that 18-month period, I would have dengue type 2 and dengue type 4. So what happens then, saying that my body would have been under stress and being compromised from the first dengue fever, chances are, if I'm not using my vitamins, not eating well, and I'm practicing a good healthy lifestyle, chances are I will move from classical dengue fever to dengue hemorrhagic fever. And of course, you know, hemorrhagic means to bleed. So what happens is that the virus then starts to rupture the cells in my body, the internal cells of my body. And then I could come down with dengue hemorrhagic fever. So then I tend to bleed inside, and the blood, of course, bleeding inside need to come out of your body. So if I lay down tonight, when I wake up tomorrow, then I may see blood on my pillow from my ears. My nose may start to bleed. I may get blood in my stool, blood in my urine, and even my hands and so on may start to bleed. And of course, you know, when you're losing blood like that, you're going to shock. You're going to shock. And what actually kills you then is dengue shock syndrome, which is the dengue, classical dengue, along with hemorrhagic dengue, along with all the different fever, headache, joint pains, and so on. And chances are then I will die from dengue, DSS, dengue shock syndrome. So it's important for persons that, especially if you had the first dengue, any of these serotypes, not to catch dengue again. And that is my advice. My other advice is that with the rainy season, the dengue fever mosquito like to breed in good, clean, crystal clear water. And the larvae lie at a 90-degree angle. When we see the larvae in water, it lies at a 90-degree angle. And this mosquito bites you between 6 or 7 in the morning and around 6 in the evening. And of course, most of us between that period, we are mostly at work or at school. So you could leave home in a safe environment, travel to work or school, and pick up the dengue virus there. And what happens is that when you are feeling sick and you visit the doctor or the polyclinic, there's a form that the doctor uses called a health notifiable inspection, notifiable form that caters to at least 30 different diseases: food poisoning, dengue, leptospirosis, measles, and so on, chikungunya, Zika, yellow fever, and so on. And when the doctor questions you, probably take a blood test, he usually take the suspected case of the condition you have. So if you have dengue, he ticks the box with dengue fever. And as I said, it's a notifiable disease form. And that form, I live in Black Rock, so if he diagnosed I had dengue, that form goes to the Brantford Tate Polyclinic, which is in my jurisdiction, in my catchment. And then I will receive a telephone call from the inspectorate at Brantford Tate telling me they want to come and interview me. So we will set up a time. They may tell me they want to come tomorrow 11 o'clock, and I would make myself available for them to come tomorrow at 11. When the inspector gets by my house and sits down with me, there's a dengue inspection form, and that inspector will question me and ask me if I had headache. If I say yes, he tick headache, fever, joint pains, and he tick all the boxes of the different signs and symptoms that I would have told that person about. After conducting the interview, the inspector then inspects my premises to see if I'm breeding the mosquitoes at my house. And I must tell you, when I was working, 95% of the time that we would have interviewed persons who had dengue, the mosquitoes were breeding right at their premises. And that is a serious thing. What happens then is on that form, the inspector also questions me of where do I work or what school I attend or college. And the reason for that is that I live in Black Rock, but if I'm working in Oistins, the inspector then cannot go up to Oistins to inspect premises up there. So what the inspector does, if I say, well, I work Beer Garden in Oistins, the inspector at Brantford then contacts the Randall Phillips Polyclinic to get a sense of understanding of within the last 3 months, what was the mosquito situation around Oistins and environs, to see if I would have picked up the dengue up in Oistins while I was at work, or whether or not I would have picked it up in Black Rock. Another thing the inspector does is that when he finished interviewing me and inspecting my premises, he must do at least 30 inspections at premises around where I live. And most of the time, at least 3 or 4 of these houses are breeding mosquitoes. And the purpose for that is that by I have the dengue, he wants to stop that transmission, that infestation of mosquitoes. He wants to limit those amount of mosquitoes out there that will most likely come and bite me to take my blood and virus to someone else. And that is the procedure of dealing with the whole investigation of dengue fever and how you die, how you spread the virus from one person to the other. We have persons who meet me and tell me, my gas man, I ain't seeing the fogging truck in my area. I must tell listeners and those watching the program right now, when you see the fogging truck, you should be concerned. When you don't see the fogging truck, you should be happy. Because when you're seeing the fogging truck, it means that mosquitoes is in high, there's a high infestation of mosquitoes in your area. Because how we fog is that we collect data. So we fog due to persons complaining about mosquito breeding. We fog due to the amount of mosquitoes we find in the district. And we also fog due to the amount of dengue cases we find within the community. So if you're not, and that is done through something called GPS, Geographic Positioning System, and GIS, Geographic Information System. So whereas years ago we used to fog from Christchurch to St. Lucie and back, we don't do that anymore. We collect data, put it into a computer, and then the computer sends out information telling us where where we should fog. And while I'm at it, I don't want to alarm anyone, but I would just want you to permit me to mention some of the areas that we're mostly concerned about in Barbados for mosquito breeding. So where I'm sitting is in Deacons. This is one. Freehill, Fairfield, in town, in the Orleans, places like West Terrace in St. James, Trent in St. James, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew, Ellerton, St. George, Dalles Road, Rockley, Dayton, Sergeant's Village, the place up there, Parish Land in St. Philip, up there by the prison, the Crane, the Glebe, Walkers, Fortescue, St. Philip. Those are the areas that Market Hill in St. George, Edgecliff in St. John, Gall Hill. Those are the places that we have seen a lot of mosquito breeding. So,
but can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
How do you go about or the question should be then, is it because those areas are prone to flooding or water settling? They have ponds. Why those particular areas?
Very, very good question. I'm glad that you asked that. You remember I would have mentioned Belle Plaine.
Yes.
So, for instance, Belle Plaine, as you know, there's certain parts of Barbados where the water system is not reliable. So, of course, Belle Plaine, St. Andrew is the area where persons raise a lot of cattle, sheep, a lot of animals. So what they do is they hold water, they catch water, so that if the system is not reliable, they need water to wet plants, they need water to feed animals. And when they collect this water is not stored adequately. So that is how you get mosquito breeding. A place like West Terrace in St. James and a place like Friendship in St. Michael behind the polyclinic, persons keep a lot of plants. So if you go at these premises, you see a lot of plants, and of course you as I mentioned, persons who have wetting plants, persons having the plants on the outside and the rainwater. Because the rainwater, why we get so much mosquito breeding during June to November. Remember, the rainwater do not carry chlorine.
Right.
The rainwater is pure, so the mosquitoes tend to breed a bit faster. They also breed. Yeah, they also breed in your water that you catch from the tap, but that water has in chlorine. So it takes a little longer, but because of the rainwater being what you call sterile, free from the chlorine, that is why you get right. And also answer your question, we get like drains and blockage of drains, persons illegally dumping and pet bottles blocking up drains, blocking the silt traps leading to the well, and you get a lot of mosquito breeding. And what persons don't know is that at the polyclinic, there's a truck and there's a driver supervisor. And what we sometimes do, along with the general workers, is get the driver to go around with the truck after heavy rainfall and treat a lot of these drains and wells with oil. And that is something that we do periodically to stop the mosquito breeding.
Right. And Clark is saying that she hasn't, and a couple others, I think one or two others, they haven't seen an inspector. I haven't seen an inspector come to my house. They said the inspector used to come, but in about 5 years, they haven't seen an inspector. I have not seen an inspector in years.
Okay. The plant that I'm seeing here, this is a classic example of the bromeliad plant. This is the one that tends to give the most trouble.
I have one right outside my door.
Yes, this particular one, as I said, you could put some dunks, you could put some not much salt, because the salt will dry it and kill it. Not much salt. You put a little bleach, but you could put some aquatine or some dumps. To address the question about the inspectorate, Barbados is divided into 61 public health districts. When I leave the job, there were about 130 inspectors, and there are approximately 148,000 premises. But with the 130 inspectors, only about 50 do what we call house-to-house inspections. So, of course, you and I know when you look at 148,000 premises to 50 or 60 inspectors, you will not be able to see an inspector as you would have liked. And you and the listeners may be asking me then, if there are 50 inspectors, what is happening with the other 80? So with the other 80, you have admin staff. You have some of them seconded to the Barbados Community College to teach the course. You have 14 inspectors, about 21 inspectors between the Grand Islands Airport, the Bridgetown Port, and Port St. Charles. We have, as I speak to you, at 6 o'clock this evening, an inspector went on to Hypat to work. That inspector went on there at 6 this evening. I'm going to spend the entire night there till 6 tomorrow morning. And then at 6 tomorrow morning, someone will relieve that inspector and work till 6 in the evening. And the reason for that is that Hypat makes ham, sausages, nuggets, and the inspector need to be there to look at quality control and make sure that the right sodium nitrite brine is going into the hot dogs and all of that sort of thing. So what I'm asking, would you want someone to leave a plant where they're monitoring something for you to eat, to come to your house to tell you to clean your place? Or will you want that inspector to go and monitor food for consumption? We have food coming in the port on ships. The inspector have to monitor that food and make sure that food is not bitten by rats. Remember, I talk about the ship rat that go on the ships, the rattus rat. He have to make sure that food is wholesome. You have to make sure when the plane is coming in and people coughing, and you have to quarantine persons coming off the flight. You have to deal with the airport, deal with the flight kitchen, deal with the food. Then we have an inspector station at Southern Meats. And that inspector will go on there tomorrow morning at 6 and leave at 2. And all the pigs and cows and sheep that are slaughtered, he have to inspect the liver, the spleen, the kidney, the heart, and make sure that that meat, when it leave southern meats and it go to Hanshelinist down in Fontibel where the inspector is working to be made into pork, that is wholesome. Then we have 2 inspectors at Chickmont that have to inspect over 20,000 birds being slaughtered per day to make sure that you when you eat your chicken, that you eat wholesome chicken. So what I'm saying, and then of course, as I mentioned a time, I was at the vector control unit, and I sent over 500 dead bodies overseas. We have to go and inspect the dead leaving Barbados to go overseas. We have to make sure the body's embalmed because it's going on an aircraft.
Oh, wow.
And there's certain procedures. The body must be in a metal coffin, and then it moved from a metal coffin into a casket or a plywood box. We have to go and hold the person and touch the body and make sure it's wholesome, and only the body is in there. So if the body leave and go to Jamaica, Guyana, and then they don't see the inspector's signature, then that body will be sent back to Barbados. So all of these things, so what I'm saying to you, far from concentrating on the house to house with 130 staff, we are putting our priorities into things that will more affect you. No one should be coming to your house to tell to clean your place. So what happens in these big countries is that inspectors don't go out and do house to house. You do what you call complaints. So I can understand if you're having a problem and you call, we need to come out and investigate your complaint within 24, 48 hours. But we shouldn't be coming around wasting resources telling you to clean your place when I said last time you should spend at least 10 minutes twice a week inspecting around your place.
But tell you what, Mr. Gaskin, would you believe that I gave you back the 10 minutes and we are 2 minutes away. So you have 2 minutes left. So what is it that you want to tell us in the 2 minutes?
In my 2 minutes, I am saying that there's crop over on right now. You're going to be looking at selling food or attending all the crop over events. Even myself will be going to some of them. And so on. You have visitors coming in, friends coming in. Spend, especially now we're heavy rainfall, spend at least 10 minutes twice a week inspecting around your premises, keeping things that could collect water turned down. When you're washing your wares, dry them before you put them in your wear rack. Shake your toothbrush before you put it in your toothbrush holder. Check the pipe under the sink to make sure that trap is not leaking, and you put in a bucket to collect the water. If you're putting a bucket to collect the water because it's defective, put some dumps in it, put some bleach, put some aquatine, put some oil. If you're having tires, don't keep them exposed in the outside. Put them under a shade, put some soil in them, or cut some holes in them every 5 inches around them. Inspect your premises. Make sure you're not harboring mosquitoes and collecting water. That is my message to all Barbadians.
Thank you so very much. And I was here, getting some notes down, and I've started to follow. Every week I follow what I hear on. I'm going to go check my bromeliad plant. Yes, and do some stuff with that because it's right up my door right here. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaskin. God bless.
It was my pleasure.
Yes, God bless. Thank you so much.
Okay, all right.
Yes. Well, another very, very, informative session. I was thinking of Mr. Gaskin today. I have my gloves in the garden. What are you talking about? You know, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to do. But we have Mr. Corey Beckles is up right now. And after him, I'm seeing Derek Alleyne is right here waiting to come on. So we're moving at the speed of light tonight. And I'm going to move out the way and welcome Attorney Corey Beckles as he talks about the 3 requirements of a will. Get your paper and pen ready. Over to you, sir. Good night.
Good night, Marcia. Good night to everyone. Hope you're hearing me clearly.
Yes, I am. I am.
All right. Yes. Right. So I'm going to get right into it. 3 requirements. 3 requirements for a valid will. Right. So the first, we need to have capacity. So the first requirement is capacity. And there is an age requirement to prepare or to sign a valid will. And that age requirement is 18 years of age. So you must be at least 18 years old to be able to make a will. Now, there are exceptions to every rule, Marcia, but that is for another program. We will get into those exceptions as it relates to that age requirement. But capacity, so capacity as relates to age, but also capacity as it relates to soundness of mind, what we call testamentary capacity. So we will see in a will, if you look at an example of any will whatsoever, you may see, well, it is not necessarily placed in every will, but you will find that there are some wills that contain the words being of sound mind. Being of sound mind, I give this, I give that in a particular will. So you need the testator or testatrix, the person who is making that will, must have testamentary capacity. They must have soundness of mind. They should not be suffering from any mental deficiency whatsoever. This also brings me now to another aspect of capacity. So what happens, Marcia, if you have a testator, testatrix, someone who wants to prepare their will, but they are faced with a disability such as being blind? What do we do then? They can still make their will. They can still give instructions to an attorney for their will to be drafted. However, when it comes down to the part of that will where they have to sign, where persons have to witness, it has to be shown inside of that will that it was read over to them. So that person who is blind, any person who is reading their will, must be assured that they knew the content of the will. So in order for them to know the content of the will, it has to be read over to them. And this has to be stated in the will, that it was read over to them and they approved of the content of the will. Because we have individuals who are not necessarily blind, they're not fully blind, but they may have some eye issues, some serious eye issues that is causing them to lose that capacity to see. They can still get their will prepared, but you must place within that will, you must assure persons who are reading that will that that individual was able to understand, to know the contents of the will. And that leads me now to the second requirement. And that second requirement is intention. So the testator or the testatrix must possess the intention. They must have intended to make that will. Why is this important? Because a will is one of the most powerful documents. And this a will speaks after someone's decease, after someone's death. So that person who is now deceased must have intended to make all of the what we call dispositions, all of those the dispositions in the will. I give, I devise, I bequeath my property, as the case may be. They must have intended to do so. And usually, when you are assuring, let's say someone is challenging the will, And their challenge to the will is that the testator or testatrix, as the case may be, they not approve of the content of the will. They never intended to give what they give in the will. Sometimes it is always best to advise individuals. If you are going to make a gift that may seem irrational, there are testators or testatrix that have 3 children, or they may have only 1 child, Marcia, and somehow someone who is unfamiliar, someone who seems to come out of the blue, is being given property in the absence or in substitution of that child. Something has to be wrong there. If that parent is going to do something as drastic as that to disinherit their only child, it is always advisable that they place the reason why they're doing this. Place the reason within the will why I am disinheriting my son. Because any person who is looking at the will after that person dies, any person who is looking at the will and it goes to court, and the court receives evidence that this parent, that the child, was taking care of the parent before they died, the child was always in the parent's life, the question will be asked, why did this individual make this important decision, this decision that involves the destiny of their property? Why would they leave out their only child for someone who is practically a stranger? And when the court, go ahead.
So, question here: how can you, if the person is died, because the will, it's after the person has passed on, how do you prove intent?
Right. So the person who is, I would say, the stranger in this circumstance, the stranger who is benefiting from the will will have to prove that there was no what we call undue influence. So any person who is putting a will forward for that will to be probated, they must show that everything was done, that the will is a valid will. And if there's a challenge to that will, and they find themselves in the court, they now have to let the court know what are the circumstances. Sometimes you may have to invite the attorney at law who actually drafted the will. Because the attorney at law will be able to give evidence as to the circumstances in which the will was drafted. And again, as I said, even if the will does not contain the reason why the parent is disinheriting the child, that only child, the attorney may be able to give the court some measure of clarity as to why the parent would do or would make such a decision.
Yes.
But if that decision cannot be explained, if there's no reasonable explanation for that decision, sometimes you will find that will could be deemed invalid. It is not an exact science, Marcia, but it all depends on the circumstances. So when I give the circumstances of that child always taking care of the parent, that child always in the parent's life, the parent may even would have done a will prior, because a person can have more than one will. The parent could have done another will before this last will, giving everything to that child. So when the court looks at the circumstances, the fact that the child was always in the parent's life, the fact that there is a previous will giving everything to their only child. Now this last will and testament, something seems fishy.
Okay, got you.
Because the circumstances show that there really is no reasonable explanation why the parent would disinherit their child. So just to answer your question, it all depends on the circumstances. And even though the testator is no longer there, even though the testatrix is no longer with us, the court can still look at all of the circumstances. Because the child will be given evidence. You may also have evidence from the attorney at law. Or you may also have evidence from family and friends, family members who may have heard the parent saying, well, anything, when I die, I'm going to leave everything to my son. All of this is evidence that the court can use to make a decision to determine whether or not the will is valid or invalid in the
Right.
circumstances.
Intention.
Yes, intention is very important. And now the third requirement is what we refer to as formalities. So there's certain formalities for a valid will. The first one, the will must be in writing. The will must be in writing. Now, I know we are familiar with a lot of TV shows and movies where a person may leave a video will. A video will, or will done through video, or even a will done through audio, if that's even possible. We see these things happen. We see these things occur on these TV shows and movies. But a will must be in writing. For a will to be valid, it must be in writing. And I can't stress that enough. Now, what happens if it is the last moments? Person may be on their deathbed. Now, of course, they may not have the opportunity to call an attorney to draft their will. What happens if they take a pen and they write their will by hand on a piece of paper or a scrap of paper? What happens then? So the formality of, or the formalities for a will are suspended when we are dealing with a will that is written in the handwriting, written throughout in the handwriting of the testator or the testatrix.
Oh, okay.
Right. So because the testator or testatrix is using a pen, they're using their own, is in their own handwriting. So because it's in their own handwriting, the law does not require all of the formalities that it requires from a document that is drafted and printed, that is typed out and printed. One such formality other than the writing is that it has to be witnessed. Every valid will must be witnessed. And it has to be witnessed by at least two individuals. And those two individuals must witness the testator or the testatrix signing that will. So really and truly, there should be at least three individuals. Whenever a will is being signed by the testator or testatrix, there really should be three individuals.
Three, right.
Well, it could be four if the attorney is not a witness. But usually the attorney is a witness. The attorney who is actually preparing the document is a witness. Along with if it's done in the attorney's office, it could be their secretary, the attorney's secretary or assistant. So there really should be at least three individuals in that room. The first individual is the testator or the testatrix. The other two individuals are the witnesses.
Two witnesses, yes.
Right. So the two witnesses must see the testator or the testatrix sign the will. They must be able to see that with their own eyes. And they also must be able to attest to the fact that on a particular day, on the 6th of July, 2026, I was at the office in Bridgetown, at the lawyer's office in Bridgetown, and I saw testator B sign his last will and testament. And he signed it in my presence. So everything must be done. All signatures must be done in the presence of the testator. And also the testator must be in the presence of the witnesses when they're signed. So everybody should be in the presence of each other. So the witnesses are attesting to the fact that they saw the testator or testatrix sign. Also, the testator must be there to see the witnesses sign also. Everything is done in the presence of each other. And those are the formalities, really, Marcia.
Okay, so those are their witness and writing, and you must have at least two witnesses. So
Correct.
essentially, you have three persons, in that room or wherever you are. Yes, and those are now we literally have 10 minutes because I am trying to make up time now.
Right.
So somebody's asking if that will is called a holographic will. I guess a will that is done by video, but it's isn't that
Not
just
video,
movie
by
or?
handwriting. Once the will is in the handwriting of the testator or the testatrix, we refer to that as a holographic will.
Ah, I see. Okay.
Right. And the holographic will, or the will that is done in the handwriting of the testator or testatrix, does not require those formalities, as I said before. So then there don't need to be any witnesses when there is a will throughout that is written in the handwriting of the testator or testatrix. Because as I said, sometimes those will, or most often, those wills are done when the testator really has no choice. There's no one around him or her. They want to make a will. They find a pen and they find a piece of paper and they jot down what they want their estate or who they want their estate to go to. So the law approves of such wills that are done totally in the handwriting of the testator, and the law does not put a burden on the testator for the testator to now go and find witnesses to witness his handwriting or witness his signature of his own will.
Yeah, John Clark saying very informative. Listen, I didn't know a holographic will. I thought, you do holograms. I thought that's what it was. Video was, the video thing. Thank you, Judith, for that. Make it saying that because I learned. Every time this show on a Monday night, especially Monday night, I'm learning something. So holographic will, did not know about that. I'm waiting to see if we have any other questions here, but go right ahead if there's anything you want to tell us in the next 8 minutes.
Right. Yes. So, and I'm going to give just a sneak peek of next week, God willing. We're going to be looking at different kinds of wills next week.
Okay.
So we have many different kinds of wills, and it's very important when you are deciding, you make that decision that you want your last will and testament to be prepared. It is always best that you are aware of the different kinds of wills that are there. Also, especially as if you are married, there are specific wills for persons who are married, for persons who want to ensure that their husband, wife, as the case may be, their spouse are taken care of. Right? So we will go into that next week. Yes. But while we're still here, we still have some time.
Yes.
Right. So I see the comment here, and I know a holographic will is legal in this jurisdiction. Yes. Right. So correct. So as related to the holographic will.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then you can. I know you've answered this several times, but go ahead.
And can I leave my portion to someone else? Yes. Before I die, yes, you have the capacity as long as you have the testamentary capacity. As long as you are not suffering from any debilitating or mental deficiency, you have full right to leave your property, your estate to someone other than your children. However, if you have a child who may be suffering from who is under disability, a child who has to be taken care of every day of their life, that child is referred to as a dependent. Even though that child may be an adult, that child is still a dependent. And if you are going to make your will, prepare your will, you have to provide in your will for your dependents.
Oh, wow.
Any person that is dependent on you, any person that was dependent on you prior to your death, you cannot disinherit them. You must make provision for them in your will. And that's important. Very important question.
Wow. So that's where it would be contested.
Correct. Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
So you can't leave that child, even though the child is an adult. You cannot leave them without support. You cannot leave them without support.
So the court will then decide.
Yes, the court will decide. If it is that individual, that child, because a child may have their different disabilities, their physical disabilities, as the case may be, their mental disabilities. Someone, depending on the situation, depending on the gravity of the situation, someone will have to represent that child in court to challenge that will. Because what we call the Succession Act of Barbados, which deals with estate matters and distribution of estates, that child will be considered a dependent. That child was relying on you or relying on the parent prior to the parent's death, and the parent cannot disinherit them. The parent must provide for them in their will. Another issue also is that even though you may have a child that is not necessarily under any disability whatsoever, or a family member, if it is proven that you were taking care of that individual, every month you were giving them money, sending groceries. If it is proven that you was doing this on a consistent basis, there is the possibility that that child can also challenge that disinheritance in the will.
Oh, wow.
There is the possibility. So dependence is not just based on the fact that you may be under some mental or physical disability. The child may be under some mental or physical disability. But dependence is also, from a factual standpoint, that person was depending on some financial gift every week, every month. I know that person is no longer here. That person is still dependent on the estate. In this case, it will be on the estate. And that person, I'm not saying that in every circumstance it will happen, but that person can challenge their disinheritance in the court.
There's another question here, very informative. There is a trust fund better than a will?
The trust fund has its benefits. There are advantages to a trust. There are benefits to a trust. There are benefits to a will also. There are also disadvantages to a trust, and there's also disadvantages to a will. Whether or not you should do a trust or whether or not you should prepare a will depends on your circumstances. It depends on how many assets you have. It depends on how many beneficiaries you have. You may have a business, a company. You may have shares in a company. It all depends on the extent of your estate. And that will determine whether or not the trust is better than a will. But I wouldn't tell you that one or the other is better than the next. It all depends on the circumstances. For example, there's circumstances where a trust will be better if you want to protect your assets or keep your assets in your family line from generation to generation. The trust will be, of course, that will be way better than a will if that is your intention. But a person who doesn't intend to keep that particular property in their family line, it is better for them to make a will. But if you want to keep that property in your family, the trust is better in those circumstances.
Yes. Well, there's a message here from Rosalind Corbin. And by the way, Miss Corbin, if you're listening, I sent you a message about 2 weeks ago, I think, or a week and a half. And I'm wondering, I don't know if your number has changed, but I haven't heard from you. But she's saying it's a practice of posting handwritten will back to self still done. Oh.
Right. I am not certain if it is still done. But what I can say is that it still doesn't, even if you don't post it to yourself, the handwritten will or the holographic will still be valid in the circumstances. I guess the person who is posting the will back to themselves believes that will have some benefit to them, showing that there is some intention on their part for that will to be valid. And that is fine. That is all well, and that is fine. Nothing is wrong with that. But even if you do not post the will back to yourself, that holographic will still be valid in the circumstances. The main thing following from that question is that someone can find or locate that will. That really is the most important part, because handwritten documents, especially on a piece of paper that may look unassuming, could be easily disposed of. You can easily dispose of a piece of paper that has handwriting on it, than a document that says drawn and prepared by an attorney that has "this is my last will and testament" and is on legal size paper. But a paper that is just it may be what we call foolscap paper. It could be on a sheet from an exercise book that can be easily lost.
Right, correct.
And sometimes easily destroyed. So it's very important. I guess that what Rosalind Corbin was referring to is the fact that posting it back to yourself may be a way to keep the integrity of the document itself.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, and to protect it.
We do that with copywriting as well. Sometimes you're right about. But can you believe? Oh my goodness!
Yes, all the time. Yes, all the time.
Yes, I robbed you of 5 minutes because we're gonna, we're getting, it's getting late, and we had some technical difficulties at the top. But Mr. Beckles, again, another tremendous session. And I thank you. I personally thank you very, very much. And I know the others, the viewers as well. Thank you so much for joining us and for the wealth of information.
Yeah, thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Yes, see you next week. God bless.
Yes. All right. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, bye. Oh, wow. Did you all know all of those things? Oh, my Lordy. I tell you, this is great. Night nurse. You can reach out to me 236-7000 and I can send you his information. We can't have him promoting himself on the show. That's not why he came on. But I can send you his information off the show. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Beckles. Well, folks, there is somebody that who has been missing for a little bit, missing in action for a little bit. And our next guest, folks, is no stranger to this audience. He's been away for the past 3 weeks, and I know a lot of you've been asking me, when is he going to come back? Well, tonight he's back, and joining us is Dr. Derek Alleyne. He's an educator, just reminding you, former senator, and one of the country's voices on constitutional affairs, governance, public policy, name it. Dr. Alleyne, Alleyne, I need to say not Alleyne. He is one of those voices on those matters. And when I think of him, I think of Caswell Franklin. Just a wealth of information, and we are so grateful to have him join us. And so right now, guys, share up as we share up the live as we welcome Dr. Derek Alleyne. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. I hope that you're seeing me perfectly and that you can hear me.
I'm hearing you well. I don't know what you've been doing. You just need to center yourself a little bit. If you can find, yes. Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yes.
I went out and I bought a new camera, the new microphone to ensure that we don't have those problems.
Well, I tell you, I'm sorry for them now because you got a new camera, you got microphone, and you're ready to go. You're sounding good. Good.
So, listen, it's so good to be back home. But I took a break. I needed to do some things that I promised myself to do. I'm writing about cricket and community in Barbados. I'm making an argument that the challenges facing cricket in Barbados can be traced to the lack of cricket in the communities, in the villages, and so on. So I was doing some research, and I went up to a friend of mine, Dr. Harold Eastman, who is also he's a sociologist, he's a lawyer, but he's also a cricket enthusiast. And I went up there to sit with him and to put into context what I wanted to advance. So we didn't get a lot done because it was football. He lives in Markham, and there was a festival of music. So we went partying and didn't get a lot of work done. But hopefully we'll get back up and we will get it done.
I love it.
But the visit was really worthwhile, and I also took opportunity sometimes to follow the program.
Oh wow! Thank you.
And your technical officer that deals with environmental matters, that with the mosquito business and so on, is a very good friend of mine. I don't know if I could call his name, but he's very, very close to me. He's a very hard worker, top class public officer, and he knows his stuff.
Maurice Gaskin.
Right, and I'm very, very glad that you were able to get him on. He's a very, very conscientious public officer who looks after the interests of the communities in terms of vector control and so on. Break, man.
Yes. Wow.
Yeah, but
he is right. Yeah.
I have been watching the environment over the last month, and I submitted to the social media. I published on the social media a paper on Republic or not, and I believe you may have shared it with your members, and you're free to do it. They said when I write stuff, send it out. It's not reduce the few people. I want most people to read it, and I'm arguing that the Prime Minister of Barbados has abused her office, and what I'm saying, not defamatory. I would like her to challenge me and to suggest that she has not, because the office of the Prime Minister is not about the control of the office. It's about creating an environment where all members of Parliament, in conjunction with the Speaker, get a chance to make their contributions to the advancement of the development of Barbados. The Barbados Prime Minister has had the draft constitution for the Barbados Republic either in her office at Bay Street or located somewhere in Sherwood. Wait, that's their name, no? Guyana, Sherburn. One of them drawers. It in public office, public service terms, we say it's been in file 13. That means it's put aside, not to be pulled back up. And we've gone on now waiting after the draft was submitted to the president, Dame Sandra Mason, almost 2 years ago. It is still waiting for a discussion in Parliament to be made, a document that directs the behavior, management, and rules that govern Barbados' public behavior.
Yes.
The constitution, a constitution is not something to be played with. I mean, Britain over the years have had unwritten constitution, tradition, and so on, govern behavior and so on. But all countries design constitutions that design rights, rules, regulations, behavior, all kind of things. But most of all, to protect the interests of the downtrodden, to be less able to be the marginalized, to protect their rights and their interests. That is the bottom line of a constitution, to give those vulnerable groups a voice, a hearing. And this government of Barbados under Mayor Mortley spent thousands of dollars sending commission all across the region. Africa, Canada, Great Britain, Bermuda, Bahamas, Canada, United States, taking voice reports from Barbadians living in diaspora to give content and context to a constitution to move Barbados for what Morley said she was going to repatriate the constitution of Barbados from England to Barbados. She was going to repatriate in 1966 constitution to Barbados from out of the hands of the monarchy in England. That's what Morley said. And she set up two committees. One was to prepare, and then one was to review the recommendations. And it was presented to Dame Sandra in 2024. And this is 2026. 2026. And there's a small group, I don't want to call anybody's name, that continue to question whether Barbados is operating legally. And I don't get in that. I'm not a constitutional lawyer. You don't know nothing about those things. I am a labor lawyer, not lawyer, but I understand labor law, industrial relations law, human resource management, those things. Those are my areas. But I'm not a lawyer. But I understand the principles of the laws that govern those particular disciplines. I understand them. But Miss Morley and her gang, and I'm softening up that word, continue to live on the backs of Barbadians and refuse to bring the constitution to the house. They got the majority. It can't get turned back or turned down. Whatever they bring will be passed. Bring it so that Barbadians will get a feel for what rights are bestowed to all of us. What privileges, what responsibilities are transferred from the top to those at the bottom. But I make this claim and I make this argument that Mrs. Morley does not want that constitution to be proclaimed. Because what it does is it reduces her ability to behave as like what Oinafa call her, a despot. Once that constitution is proclaimed, Morley's behavior will become sanctioned stronger because people have a reference point. Right now, we're in between what was a monarchical constitution and what is supposed to be a republican constitution. So we ain't left, no, we ain't right. We in the hands of Morley, who determines what will happen left or right. She controls what is right and what is wrong. And when you examine Morley's behavior, there's no evidence to contradict my argument that she has behaved in manners that make Oinafa's characterization of her as a despot clear. So
you're saying this is, I never thought of it that way before. I don't know about the others, but you're saying that you believe that it's deliberately being delayed so
yes.
that
Morley is making sure that the constitution does not become proclaimed.
Because it will. You're saying it will. If it's proclaimed, it's going to limit her power, and that's
exactly because the constitution as presented asked for more citizen participation and to remove the power from the center into the bottom. More citizen participation. So Molly brings it. It takes a lot of the power out of her hands. That is in law. But knowing Molly, she will find some way to subjugate that position. But that is not the issue. Bring it and get it passed. Let me tell you something. The first act of Molly and her government was to go to the House of Assembly in 2026. And in that new legislation, that forbids, and I really forbids inverted commas, that reduces the inclination of people to cross the floor. Now, I was not in Barbados, but I read some excerpts from a presentation done by the former Prime Minister of Barbados. My mentor, and I don't care who got a problem with that. That was my senior prefect at school. From this year, I've had significant respect for him. And if I lived to be 1,000, he had 1,005, I would respect him till the day I die. He was my mentor at school, bright, without question, intellectually strong. People could go what they believe, but I believe in him. A bright man with integrity, without question. And he lamented the behavior of a pack of belly-hurting weaklings in the House of Assembly who sat down and gave away their independence to be able to make a determination on behalf of their constituents and transferred responsibility for decision-making from themselves. From 29 individuals, they reduced their responsibility from 29 individuals affecting decision-making and handed it to me and Motley. So me and Motley can tell them if they can eat breakfast, if they can eat lunch, if they can pass ear. She can tell them that now. 29 of them. It is one of the most weak behaviors of human beings I have ever witnessed. I really can't believe it happened. You are telling me that I am up in a party. I ran for the Democratic Party twice, 1994 and 1999. And when I ran as a member of the party, but as my individual right to represent constituency of St. Michael West Central. I was not elected, but if I elected, I felt I had a right and a responsibility to represent my constituency to the best of my ability without diverting from the policies of my political party. And I sit down and I remember the dilemma that we had with the West Hall and Keith Simmons and those people when they voted against Sandyford. And I tried not to get involved in it because Sir Wes remains one of my biggest friends, dear to my heart. And I don't want to make any comments that would compromise any decision he made or elevate the decision made by others. But I always believe that when you are running, you must represent your constituents and you must also be cognizant of your responsibility to the political party that you run on their ballot. But to go into Parliament and give a rubber stamp to a decision that reduces you to the control of the whip, to reduce you from your independence to vote on the behalf of the interests of your constituencies, or your constituents, I'm sorry, is a sad day. It is a sad day in the political history of Barbados. And the Constitution of Barbados remains inert. It is like one of those gases that got no strength. My chemistry fails me, know what I will call this one, but it got no inert. Truth is, yeah, my old chemistry forgive. It escapes me now. But the Constitution of Barbados now, we ain't got none. And Molly acknowledges that. And these whips that we have in Parliament now put all of the power for decision making into the hands of Motley. Now that is the first thing. The next thing Motley and that wimpish group she has did is to elevate a member of the Barbados Labour Party as an independent speaker. How am I going to represent a political party in the House for 7 or 8 years? And then 29 of them get in there and decide that them elected him as independent. There got to be some level of prostituted behavior that flows from that. Alley can never be independent in the House. I'm a them. I am a them. Me and Molly can never be independent in the House. Molly is a B. Then a story that we gonna recite on that. And they elect a man who for 7.5 years made his position very clear. He treated Rafton with disrespect to hold a BLP position. Every time he got up, there was some position that he took that showed his bias. And they elected him as an independent speaker. When prostitutes were going down through Nelson Street, a whole crowd of them should have gone. Are you serious about that?
Oh Lord, Dr. Alleyne, you're back.
No, you look. I ain't calling none of them prostitutes.
No,
but I said they should have gone and learn what about. If they'd have gone, they couldn't behave so. You know what I'm saying? They couldn't behave the way they behave, and then to suggest to us that they're independent and that they're doing the right thing for Barbados. They should have gone down to all the little nooks and crannies in the red light districts and understand what prostitution is about. So we got 2 acts. The first 2 acts this government did after winning the last election is to create history with prostituting the Constitution. The tenets of the Constitution ask for more participation at the grassroots level. Those 2 acts put the participation and control at the top. To get back at the top between Morley and the Speaker of the House now. The Speaker is supposed to be independent. You can imagine that Darlene sitting down in the House of Assembly and telling people that he's independent. They take a special breed of human being to sit down in the House of Assembly after representing the Barbados Labour Party all of his political life, to tell Barbadians and to try to convince them that he is independent, he or she's independent. It takes a special human being, and it takes a special kind of government to ask Barbadians to accept that. No, a lot of people don't want to deal with these issues because they're frightened. I don't know who they're frightened with. Because Molly can't frighten me. Molly can't frighten me. Molly can't. I mean, Molly will. Molly assumes office and power, and she uses the office of power to control and beat people. But she can't control me. I like whenever she can't control me. You know, I mean, it's serious now. It's getting back serious now. So let me go back to the Constitution. The Prime Minister of Barbados last week. Goes to some work site where some migrant workers are supposed to be living in deplorable conditions. I was overseas and when I saw that, I all I could do laugh. I laughed till my belly hurt me. And then you got a trade union joint secretary. So she got she eyes for the company. And a whole set of fandango. Listen, it is confusion and ignorance. Look, Alleyne worked at the Labor Department as a labor inspector, labor officer. I worked there. And I'm not going to call people's names, but I can give you the scenario. I was at work and I received a call that some people were brought in by a plantation in St. John to cut canes. I was working at Verona House. And I received this call explaining to me the circumstances under which these people were working. I took up my phone and I called the chief labor officer, Mitch Cottington. He's passed on, but I called the chief labor officer. And he told me, Derek, get your backside up to St. John and investigate that situation. I gone up to St. John and I investigated the environment in St. John. I ain't want to call the plantation name, but it's in St. John. And the guy who was the manager of the plantation was Guyanese.
Right.
And he was bringing in Guyanese to work on the plantations, using his office to help some Guyanese people to come. I have no problem. No, I have no problem. But when I got there, the conditions under which they were living made me my stomach sick. I call him and I tell him, gentlemen, we got to sort these out. We have to sort these out. A lady was the acting chief immigration officer. I don't want to call her name either. You know, she passed on. But she was connected. I knew her. But she was the acting chief immigration officer. And I am not the chief. I am not the deputy chief labor officer. I am an inspector. I took out the phone, I called the chief immigration officer and I asked her for a meeting. And she assigned one of her immigration officers to go with me to St. John to investigate the environment up there.
Yes.
We cleaned it up. Made sure that the back house which the people were living in was renovated to the point where they had in bathrooms and showers and all of that. I won't call the plantation name, but I'm talking about the 1980s or 90s. But there was no minister involved. The officers in the public service, recognizing that there was an issue, dealt with it. Now you got these, I nearly called it the wrong word, who turns up and then demanding that I shut down this for public show.
Show, yes.
It's a gallery. That's all it is. It's a gallery. Foolishness. The first point is this. Whenever a person applied for a work permit in my time, the work permit was, you had to advertise it. And when it came to my office, the labor department, we would go to all records at Verona House and see if people had been registered in that area for employment. And if people were registered in that area for employment, that information would be sent to the immigration officer, who would then say, you can't get the work permit because there are X amount of people able to perform in that function. If there was nobody registered for that area, time will be given for a notice to be made that this application has been made. And this application is made, therefore other people have a chance to apply.
Yes.
And we all responsibility at Verona House to look at the applications and to see if the people met the criteria. And we will send a report to immigration. I went to Florida, invited by the Fruit and Vegetable Association, because the governor of Barbados had complaints about the conditions of Barbadian cane cutters and fruit harvesters in Florida. I, Derek McDonald, went down to Florida to investigate, and I wrote a report, and I must say it led to the cancellation of that contract. I say so a fair contradiction. I wrote a report. But this government, you know who, I say this here now, you know who was the liaison officer in Florida? A fellow named Jeffrey Craig that went to school me at Foundation, he's son of Lionel Craig. And we had a very good time. I told him there's no way I ain't gonna recommend Barbadian workers to come back down here.
Right.
First thing, the wages down there were not significantly superior to what they were getting in Barbados cutting canes, and we were having shortages of cane cutters in Barbados and had to bring cutters from St. Lucia and St. Vincent, Dominique, and so on. And we were leaving and go and working in some obnoxious conditions in Florida. And I said wrote my report and said, no, we have to examine this here, and my recommendation is that this here stops.
Yes.
Stop it. So if I'm protecting conditions over there, you want to tell me they ain't got no labor officers in Barbados, no immigration officers. It got to come for Prime Minister getting a grandstanding. When the Prime Minister don't give orders, she can't give no orders up there to shut down nothing.
But let me ask you something, Dr. Alleyne, because I, you know, that's why it's good to have these kinds of conversations. So you're saying that in the past, what was done is the public officers would be on the ground there.
The chief labor officer and the chief immigration officer, they work together to ensure that migrant workers, any workers in Barbados, are treated to the best conditions of the sale of their labor. What Prime Minister what? What Minister Labor what?
The Prime Minister said that from what I heard from Ms. McLean last night is that she wants to get a list as soon as possible of all the people who are supposed to be working there. And so we were last night, I believe, or today, on the show, Ms. McLean was saying, but that is something that immigration would have.
That's grandstanding. The nuisance grandstanding. I say that. That's grandstanding. Look, I get so upset with this. And every time I look around, Barbadians allow Motley to grandstand on things that have rules and regulations. The Shaw Act says, I ain't even got I read the paper today upon it. The Shaw Act says that the Labor Department is to administer the Safety and Health at Work Act to ensure that the conditions that people work under in Barbados are fair, comfortable, and all of those things. What Prime Minister what? That got nothing to do with Motley. Motley going there grandstanding. Ask who issued the contracts to bring in the workers? How they get the permits? How many come in? Who stamped them? What were the agreements when they came in? What will be the pay? Where do we live? When those migrant programs are being administered, there must be an inspection of where they're going to live.
Yes.
You're going to go and inspect and make sure that the conditions are adequate, safe, and healthy. All this grandstanding and she carrying on and Barbadians eating it like if they're idiots. That is just show. She doesn't care. It's just a show.
So tell me, why do you think, I think I know why, but why do you think she is using this situation as a show?
Yes,
Why you think she's doing that?
because listen, my argument is this: Company A makes an application to bring in labor. Look, we got Chinese people here living in houses that look like prisons.
Right, that's true.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I mean, I go up by the stadium, National Stadium, where these building stadium there. I don't know how people can live in them units. They let them in Glengarry.
Yeah.
And there's no hard work because the Chinese are not going to complain. They're accustomed to that. The China State Corporation hires people and dispatches them all over the globe to do labor to build the Chinese expansion. Fine. But issue of work permits for mass migration or migration projects must be accompanied by investigations of the conditions and the way they're going to sell the labor, the wages, transportation. I saw an article by Dr. Jeremy Stevens today.
Stevens,
bless my heart. A young man I respected. Who is the issues? A girl named Michelle Russell.
Yes.
Asking for sanctions. The editorial in the Daily. The Bar Association asking for stricter control of work permits. And this government in office and as these things happening, and now the minister comes saying that there are gonna be more inspections by the Labor Department. You can't have inspection when you got 16 members to police the whole of Barbados. You got a labor inspection, health and safety inspectors, 16. I think don't even think it's 16. That is including seniors to inspect the whole of Barbados in an environment like this. And he talking about more coming. What you do it himself, idiot?
Yeah.
I tired of this crowd. This crowd bad. Look, you see this government, these ministers, look at me. The bad. The bad.
Yeah.
The bad. And I saw a paper that the minister said more inspections to come. Everything we need is to come.
Is to come. Somebody's saying here that this is just like when Miss Murray in a hurry, that is the Prime Minister, ran down to the hospital as if she could do something about Bajans on the waiting room floors. A phone call would have done it. The same thing, nothing. But and we're back to square one. So many issues at the hospital. So it's again, it's performative. You know, nothing real about it.
Look, when I work in Labor Department, and that's why this thing grieves me. Every month, I had to send in a report to the Chief Labor Officer about the number of visits I made to shops, offices. I visited X amount of shops. The conditions were A and B, C. They had problems with the toilets. The wages were not being kept. The records were not being kept. All I had a report every month. Now, I ain't saying this government alone is at fault. Those things may have deteriorated over time.
Yes.
I'm not saying that this is the problem that starts under the Morley government. But I'm saying is that given the Morley's administrative posture, it suits them. Because then it gives her the opportunity to come out and pretend that she's a martyr. She coming to save the day. She coming out like Robin Hood. When the truth is she's Hood Robin. You know what I'm saying? And I get tired, and I don't know if Barbadians can't see through her up to now. I looked today. The Chief Labor Officer has just moved up to acting as a permanent secretary. Ask the government of Barbados what has happened in the Labor Department since a young lady, and she's a bright, industrious, hardworking young woman. I have no quarrel with her. Ask them what's happening in the Labor Department. 3 officers went home. Ask them what they done. Replace them. Ask them what they don't embellish the factory inspectorate, the health and safety unit. That's I me coming on your program and be saying the same thing from the time I come on. That the problem in labor is insufficient resources. And the bigger problem is the minister. A nuisance. And I make no what's called that? I make no apology for saying that. He just talk and talk and talk. I know he everything coming. And he ain't getting the children. He coming all the time and he ain't getting the children. Sorry, but I can't help it. I can't help it. I can't help that. I can't help that.
The fire blanks.
No, look. I mean, I get very emotional about labor. I work in the Labor Department.
Yes.
I work in the inspectorate. I work in the job promotion. I work in overseas programs. I work in training young people for job attachments. I went to the University of Warwick and did a fellowship from the British Council on creating employment opportunities and counseling. All the things I did. I'm a labor person.
Yes.
And then I left and went to the NUPW. After being a shopkeeper, I went there and became an industrial relations officer, education training officer. Then I became assistant general secretary and then deputy general secretary. So labor is my thing. I teach at the university industrial relations. It's my thing. And I take objection and anger with the way this minister has been treating labor and people believing that the minister really understands what he's doing. He's a nuisance.
Yeah. But I got a message here from someone. It says, I'm disgusted by what was being done to these foreign workers. I only wish that Sellout More was so passionate about the plight of the Barbadian worker. No doubt this was a well-planned PR moment to regain some relevance. Were these workers union members? Was a union the body to break and crack down on this type of exploitation? What government agency dropped the ball on this? So this person is saying, what about all the other issues in labor? There are so many cases, Dr. Alleyne, that you and we discussed about that have not been done. Go right ahead.
Marcia, I don't discuss that lady. Trust me. I just ignore her. She's been a one fortunate lady that has a gentleman who should have retired about 10 years ago still directing her. So I don't talk to her. I don't discuss her or anything. I just leave.
You're talking about Sellout More?
So I don't discuss them because if you still need I still make contributions to NUPW and C2SAB, I still make one, but I am not employed or hired or nothing. So I give advice, I make some suggestions and so on. So I don't really take her on. I just ignore her. But let me make this general point. That the recent issue down at the sugarcane place, named in St. James, Port Vale. Right. Where trade unionists Franklin raised issues that remain unresolved.
Right.
It's a statement about her credibility and her interest in resolving issues relating to workers. I say no more about that. So when she comes and she speaks on these issues and she's so confused, and I remember the Kentucky Fried Chicken issue, she's so confused and she's so upset. I just ignore her. I see right through her. I do not have any time for that lady. Absolutely no time for her. Workers in Barbados are being so short by the unions in Barbados. The problem with Caswell Franklin's union is that he doesn't have the numbers. So if he raises an issue and the government stall or confuse it, he can't strike. He ain't got no striking power. Those with the striking power are not dealing with the issues. The ones that got the ability to shut down an office. Franklin does not have the numbers in any of his units to close anything. So he can holler out and shout out, and the government understands that. So they listen to him, they hear him, and the streets. But the ones that got the numbers that can call action against the wickedness being perpetrated on workers in Barbados are not doing it. And I don't want to say that they are locked up in the bosoms of the government ministers or the government or the premier. I'm not going to say that, but people can view and determine whether that is true or not. So I understand the challenges with Franklin. He's going to voice out his opinions. He doesn't have the resources to make meaningful change. And because of his personality, none of the other unions can hook up with him because he can steal the spotlight because he's more aggressive than them. So none of the general secretaries of the any unions can sit down with Franklin because Franklin is going to dominate the discussion and it's going to look like he's doing it. So they leave him out there by himself and let him be the noisemaker. While they concern themselves with holding office and allowing this government to get away with maladministration and the depreciation and degradation of workers. This thing with these migrant workers is a pittance of what is happening in Barbados. I wrote a paper, I think you all sent it out a couple of months ago, on the minister's statement about historical achievements at ILO.
Yes.
When I question historical for what, I maintain that argument. It is just show for them. It is not changing the plight of workers in Barbados. It's not elevating workers to be part of a social partnership of equality. The government is the chief main employer in Barbados, and you treat their workers like dogs, like cats, like secondary people. The Prime Minister determined that she's going to give them $100 every month. She's going to put $300 in a pay package. There's no collective bargaining discussions about wage bargaining, about conditions of work, about uniforms, about health and safety issues, transportation costs, energy costs. Those discussions don't happen. The Prime Minister gets on the platform and says, I'm going to give you all $100 a month. And that is the negotiation strategy. Last year, she gave them $300. That is what it's about. Jesus. And the Minister of Labor, boy, he is. Can't say anything. He got, but I always remember a big Christian man was asked to lead a debate on same-sex marriages and how I did done with he from Dame.
Yes, I remember.
I did done with him from Dame.
He couldn't even stand up on, on his own beliefs, his own biblical beliefs.
I wrote him off from Dame. I said, there is a boy. He is a boy. B-O-Y-Y-Y-Y.
That boy is, there is a boy. You know, like when you read it, I am a boy.
Yeah, I done he from Dame.
What's his name again? His name is Roy, not Roy. What is his name?
People know my position on issues. Nobody can get gammon and tell me to make a presentation on not drinking rum. No, I would be a prostitute. You understand? So that Alleyne talking. You can't ask me to do that. You can get a man with a big pastor and a big lady in the church to come and speak on same-sex marriages. Give me a break, man.
Derek and Kelly, you're making up for the 3 weeks. Mr. Alleyne says there is nobody could tell him to get up in Parliament and speak against drinking rum because he know he drink rum. So why would he? And it's the same thing, you know. The point you're making is about conviction.
Yes.
What are you convicted about?
You know, look, we all know that. In politics, sometimes you got the Tory party line.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there are some things that you just cannot do.
Yeah.
There's some things that nobody can get you to do, Marcia.
No, absolutely.
Nobody can ask you to speak anti-Christian behavior.
No.
For no reason. For no reason. They can't get you to do it. And therefore, when these fellas breach those protocols, those behavioral patterns, those value systems, I have no respect for them.
Yeah.
And I know, and I tell them, I'm 73 years old now, and I'm comfortable in my life. I'm a happy man. I am enjoying the benefits of old age. And I'm fighting for nobody. My job here is to enjoy the rest of my life and to make cases for the people that I have always supported, the working class people of Barbados. Yeah. I respect people at all levels, but my aim all my life was the people at the bottom. My job is to elevate them. And as long as I live, I can fight their cause.
Yes, yes. But
I'm going to fight
I love that. And somebody here, she sent this to me, this person who sent this to me quite a number of times, the same message, and they're sending it tonight again. It says, good night. The public officers are overwhelmed. She's saying here, Mr. Dr. Alleyne, too much work to be done in too little time. And the workers are few. Make it make sense. I'm hearing that from teachers. I had a whole segment to do. I'm going to read something a little later from teachers. But this is exactly what you are speaking of. And this is what Tazwell used to talk about. I'm going to leave you to comment on that because a lot of them are saying that they really are overwhelmed.
When I was at Labor Department, I think we had about 9. I was off sitting down writing names though, but there was there was the chief, the deputy chief, assistant chief, seniors, and about 7 labor officers. So we had this office about, in terms of the clerks and so on, probably about 25 at Labor Department. I think that has grown about 10 or 15 more. When the environment has become more complicated and more challenging.
Right.
And therefore the reciprocal response to staffing has not followed the demands made on the office. And therefore the people in the Labor Department are under pressure. I speak under correction. I think the chief now is still acting. The former chief is now acting PS. I don't think she because her post is not empty, they can't appoint nobody, and there seems to be no haste of doing it. The employment tribunals, which is supposed to deal with the complaints from the Labor Department relating to terms and conditions and so on, understaffed. The health and safety officers, understaffed. Verona House, where you do placements overseas, understaffed. But the government still got about nearly 60-somebody consultants. They got 60-somebody consultants, people working in every ministry, working for $7,000 and $8,000 and $9,000 a month, doing absolutely nothing. Let them come on and say no. Got to come and say no. They got to give me the number, so I could call 1,000 or 1,500, 500. They will not publish how many consultants have been assigned in the ministries. I can tell you though, that I had 2 consultants trying to get urban and rural development to turn into Urban and Rural Development Commission for 4 years. Enormous salaries. The National Sports Council and the gymnasium and them, same thing. They get jobs to their friends and their families when the departments that need proper staffing can't get staff. And the unions dumb, silent.
Wow.
And avoiding dealing with the issues. That's why the density of trade union continue to decline. People running away from the unions every day, done with them, quarreling and fighting out. I was a union man till I died. But you gotta be honest. We gotta get up and smell the coffee, drink it, and use it to elevate workers' interests and to lift them up from the conditions under which they now must operate. We are not honest enough with each other. Workers in Barbados are under pressure.
Yeah. You know, do you know something? This is one of the things that I was called about. I would say it's a week ago or a week and a half ago. Public servants are saying that they are concerned that some of the senior, well, this is a senior officer, actually. I'm trying to couch my words properly because I don't want to give away my sources, but it's senior officers that are saying that they are receiving work-related calls or messages and urgent requests outside of normal working hours because it is being said that the leader of this country says, well, this has to be done. So, for example, the common entrance, a lot of those senior officers, sir, they are saying that they are getting a lot of requests outside of normal working hours. And they actually called me and what they were saying, when civil servants, I'm reading it here, fall dead on the job, there's a cry for help we cannot ignore, right? They're saying that they're crying out for help. What is going to happen? Are they supposed to fall dead they're saying that they're being called outside of normal working hours because here it is, you know what, the PM said this, the PM wants this done now, this has to be done by this particular time, you know. And
look, Marcia, look, let me say this, and I want whoever hearing this to respond to it. I was director urban in 2018 when the government changed. 2008 I was director urban when the government changed, and I had a little freak stormboat Barbados in 2018. And the Prime Minister took a team into her constituency, not no place else, into her constituency. And I was told that they got some files. I got to get these files ready for the Prime Minister. Whenever. I tell her, it don't work so. They're only talking. My technical officers will tell you, I say, listen, y'all know what your jobs are. Y'all go into the areas that have been affected by the hurricane and you're all bringing your reports. When they call me and tell me I got go this place, I say I'm not going. I am not going out there for the show. My technical officers know their jobs. They know the areas that have been damaged, bringing the reports. So when the chairman called me and tell me rubbish, I tell him, you are talking to me? You are going to get reports from me in 3 days.
Right.
You know, and I think I'm running about behind a show, the party show. My technical officer are going to hand me their reports with costings and priorities. Then I said, so let them contradict that. I directed urban when Molly was Prime Minister, and she ran all through gazettes and long gap with a banner of rubbish. I did not go. Refused to go.
Yeah, but I don't know
why. Because you have staff members that know their jobs. And the time you start stopping them from knowing what they're supposed to do to follow a political directorate, you are asking for trouble.
Yeah.
And once a lot of these departments did that, follow the dictates, not of the Permanent Secretary, not of the head of the departments, but the interest of the Prime Minister, this whole system broke down.
Yes, correct.
So the Prime Minister come and say she want 2 cows killed. And you at a pig farm. You gotta go and find the 2 cows. That's the problem. The Prime Minister calls and says what she wants done, and all of them drop what they know they're supposed to do and jump behind a woman whose only interest is self.
Yes, it is clear.
They can come and contradict me till like they know that what you just said happened and it is true.
The truth. It is the truth. And listen, here's another vacation leave is another one, and I'm so glad that you're on, because I told them that I would send this to you. You know, however, I think I did send it, but I know you were on vacation. But it said that they're saying that the source is claiming that officers are accumulating very large amounts of vacation leave because they're unable to take time off. You see? And what is the government's policy then on accumulated leave?
No, you got there's 100 and some monkey days that you can accumulate. So, but that's not the issue. A vacation is not given for you to have a party, you know. Is that you're supposed to rest and recuperate.
Right.
But the same way you service equipment every 3 months, 6 months, or 9 months. Vacation is that kind of process where individual worker is used to recuperate, to recharge, to step out the environment, and to come back ready to assume responsibilities, new responsibilities and challenges. You know what I'm saying? So vacation is not only about going on holidays and trips. It is a period provided for recuperation and rejuvenation. And people need to get their vacation and to take their vacation and to go out and rest and to come back refreshed and ready to go. But let me make this other point. We have in departments in government appointed consultants who now override heads of departments. So whether
what you just said a while ago.
We have appointed consultants who report to the minister, not to the permanent secretary or to the head of the department, to the minister. And that is where a lot of the issues are coming. And unless the public service, and again the public service has been compromised, I don't care what they say, because the appointments are not done like the way they used to be done. When I went to the public service, I didn't know the minister, I didn't know nobody. I said, hey man, service can put no my name, and I get a call from a little office, a little senior clerk call me and tell me go down to this place. When I went to the Labor Department, I went to do interviews at the Labor Department. And I called the minister. I ain't calling the minister and give me a letter to get to work. You know what I'm saying? And in every department, Youth Affairs, Labor Department, all of them got consultants. All of them got consultants. And if I tell you lies, publish them. To publish the consultants, how much they getting paid, what they're doing, and who they're reporting to. Prove me a liar. I challenge them. Prove me a liar. And they will shut up.
Yeah. This is but the question is though, and we've been asking that since Caswell was on, because he was the first one who started to talk about the public servants in Barbados and how they're treated and by the government. The question is, why are Barbadians taking it? How come they are not people are hiding and messaging me, etc. What is really happening? I mean, they're concerned about their mental health. They tell me
fear. Marcia,
fear.
Marcia, fear. Marcia, fear. F-E-A-R, not F-A-I-R. F-E-A-R. Barbadians are living under an environment of total fear. decisions are made to affect people's lives because of their particular stances. Objection to the Prime Minister is almost treason.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that got out there ready to bite off people's throats and eat up the swallow pipes, you will not know who they are. They smile up in your face.
Right.
And then they run back to her and her acolytes and tell them that Marcia Weekes said this. I don't care about me. I retired. I dead now.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
And then they run back to her, and then you next thing you family under pressure. Your job under threat. The people in Barbados can pretend to get by in Barbados is to sing in Motley Square.
Right.
I say that. When I left for urban development, was asked, give the Prime Minister a call. If I tell you what you telling the tell sheet, I can't repeat it on this program.
No. Well, you know, let me just say that's a comedy moment there. But let me tell you, guys, we said, I told you, I don't know why I had said that, you know, I am going to do part 2 tonight of that Guyana issue with the black belly sheep.
Oh Lord.
But wait 1 second. 1 second. I want you to comment on that, right? Because I did promise people that we are going to go back on that. So I'll let you give your final comments in winding up this part. And then I would love to just let you loose on this Guyana issue. I don't know if how much you're because you were traveling. I don't know what you know, but I will bring you up to speed and then I will let you loose. So complete this segment and then let's go over to the Guyana.
Let me just make the general point that
yes,
we have been surviving in Barbados and we have been going along under the guise that we are a Republican state. A Republican state places its authority in the people. It's coming from the bottom up. Increasingly, this government has demonstrated that the word and the interests, dictates of the Prime Minister are the only things that matter. No, we can't force the government because the way people of Barbados voted suggests that they are comfortable with Motley treating them like rat bait, like second-class people, like pawns. So I don't even have to say we have to leave it in the hands of God. But right now, Barbados floats along. The absence of at least even a voice like Ralph Thorne in Parliament makes us a boat in the Pacific before even an oar or a sail, just floating aimlessly along, with the Prime Minister dictating who gets what, when, how, where, and why. We are in a sad state, and I am suggesting that our institutions need to arise from their slumber, take responsibility for representing the interests of the people that elect them, whether it's the unions, the Bar Association, Teachers Association, the church, NGOs. They have to get up and take responsibility and start to bring opposition to this government's dictatorial policies. Failing that, we will not recognize Barbados in the next 3 or 4 years. If we don't get up and get involved, I am not here cussing Motley and she government because it's a pleasure for me. I'm doing it because I know that what is happening is wrong. It is anti-Barbados. It is not in the interest of the majority of Barbadians. What am I going to gain by doing and behaving the way I behaving? What am I going to gain? I ain't want to be public. I comfortable who I am. I don't need the publicity. I comfort sitting on Betty shop, having a drink, going home and drawing up on my little children, and then going to my bed. I comfort there watching World Cup football. But somebody's got to get up and shout out and cry out, holler out and fight to change the direction in which this country is going. Otherwise, Lord help all of our children, grandchildren, and the institutions that we fought to build up. God help Barbados. Please get up, speak out, join up, and help change the direction of Barbados. Thank you.
Wow. I mean, oh my God, this is so, this is it. This is why we all do what we do. We could be watching World Cup right now. I know the US is playing. I could be watching that, you know, or following it some, you know, but here we are. We've given up our time. And I said, yes, that segment that you just did there, or I know our editor, listen, we got to take that out, and we've got to, because this is the purpose of why we do what we do. But I'm going to switch gears. We have 15 minutes, guys. You know, okay, I see your message, Carol. She's saying that we need to go back to the animal farm. We probably should. But I am going to, if Dave can put up the picture, and we're going to switch gears here. Folks, I know Mr. Bob is overseas, and he's calling in as well. So I'll let you make your comment about what is going on. So let me bring you up to speed if you're not. This we have on the screen here. This is Irfan Ali, President Irfan Ali, who apparently he's now a big farmer. And the people, you know, Guyanese didn't know anything about this until the leader of the opposition was able to, you know, until it was exposed by the leader of the opposition. Now, he says, oh, well, he's leading by example in, you know, pushing agriculture. It's just that nobody knew about it until the opposition leader revealed this, you know, $1 billion farm in Guyana that has 200 of the Barbados black-belly sheep. He's agreed that it's his ranch, that it's his farm. And, you know, he says when he comes back from CARICOM, he will continue to, you know, he will speak on it. What we realize is that the place actually where this farm is, guess what, Dr. Alleyne? This place has no electricity. Majority of the people don't have electricity. They don't have running water. Their roads are terrible. However, it would appear from just the pictures that we saw that the animals, they have electricity. They have water. This is the same community. Believe it, yeah. And so the question is being asked, I mean, you know, why would electricity be provided for the animals, but not for the people? These years they don't have. And you know, this is an oil producing country where they are saying that, you know, they're making all these millions and billions and whatever amount of money. But the animals, when you see the pictures, Dr. Alleyne, you will see that some of the other farmers, their cattle, they're in water and they're dying. You know, the conditions of the other animals in the country is horrible. But he has a state-of-the-art ranch. And in that ranch, there are 200 of, it is alleged, 200 of the Barbados black-belly sheep. And I want to, I have a question here that Mr. Bob sent to me. And before the night is up, I'm going to let you comment, and then Mr. Barber will comment last. Does Motley or Indoor Wear know anything about this $1 billion ranch in Guyana? I think that's a fair question. But over to you, Dr. Alley.
Look, Marcia, this Black Belly project, the Honorable Rafton raised issues about it 2 years ago.
Yes, he did.
And, there has been no response to it. And I guess there's been no response to it because to respond to it is to reveal a failed project. No, and I feel that whether it's failed or whether it's failing or whether it's doing well, information needs to come to Barbadians. The government of Barbados did A, that is, provided 1,000 sheep, provided transportation costs, provided technical support, and put cost values to them. The government of Guyana provided A, B, C, and the project is at this stage of its development. We anticipate it will go A, B, C, or D. That's all we can ask for, Marcia. Marcia, that's because right now we hear information, we are seeing pictures, but the government of Barbados needs to give us a report on the status of the Black Belly Sheep Farm project that we Barbadians, through our government, engage with the Guyanese people. I don't have a problem with engaging in a project with Guyana or Trinidad or Jamaica. But let us know what are the terms and conditions, the costs and the benefits of the project. Something is amiss. And our focus is to ignore the Guyana end of it and deal with our end. Leroy McLean is our project coordinator in Barbados. He is an expert in Black Belly sheep and is part of this project. The Prime Minister of Barbados is the person who drove it, and there's a minister. Barbados must ask the three of them to give us a report. Man said, forget all the things happening in Guyana, the money and $567 million that some minister take up. That ain't got nothing to do with Barbados. What has to do with what contributions we have made, what money we are expected to get from it, what are the benefits to us? Is it a regional gift? Whatever. Because let me tell you this here, Marcia. We also said that we were having a project for housing building with Suriname.
Yeah, okay.
And we sent Senator Wiggins or whatever she named down to Suriname to get that project going. There has been no report on that either. We don't know how much money has been spent, what benefits have come from it. So all of these things up in the air. So I ain't nothing to do with these people in Guyana. And if our farm or farm, like one money, I want to know what have been Barbados' contributions to this exercise, what benefits we have realized, what are the prospects for going forward, and what are the drawbacks for not going forward. That's all I know, Marcia. That's all I can tell you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Alleyne. Let's hear from Mr. Bob. Welcome, Mr. Bob. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, sir. It's a great to hear your voice. Wish we could have you on the show with Dr. Alleyne. I tell you, he's spitting fire tonight.
I know who Dr. Alleyne is in terms of the truth.
Yes.
The whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind tonight? I know this whole issue with the black belly sheep in Guyana is of concern to you. The Barbados, let's put the label on it, the Barbados black belly sheep. So go right ahead, Mr. Bob.
Not only the situation with the black belly sheep brings into focus a number of things that we are concerned about. And if it is on the line by what the concern that we have, is it generally the concern of how this government is governing, and how they're taking what belongs to Barbados and Barbadians and treating those things as if they are their personal property.
Mm-hmm.
And when they take up a commodity or even money that belong to the taxpayers of Barbados, and they decide to do it as they like, then a lot of questions are on our minds about who are they really representing?
Mm-hmm.
Were they elected officials? And I'm saying the issue with the questions surrounding black belly sheep, they are the same questions surrounding the money that was allocated to foreign entities. It's the same question with that we had with the Afreson
bank. Yeah,
and we call that word bank. Yes. So that is how they're operating as a general rule.
Yeah, you're correct. It's a similar thing, you know. And well, I guess they feel like the people gave them the mandate, and so they can take up our things and they can just give away the land, the where the Afrexim Bank is at. They give it away, whatever, anything. They just give it away though. And now here a thousand black belly sheep and all these. When I speak with Guyanese, they're telling me that, but Marcia, we live here, we don't see them. The most that they've seen is when this picture came out and they saw that there were black belly sheep in at this man's ranch, but they're not seeing them. If it's 1,000 black belly sheep that they said, they've now propagated to be about 5,000.
Who the ranch belong to who?
The president said it's his ranch. That is confirmed. He said it's his ranch.
The president who, Guyana?
Him, or the sheep were brought from other countries for him to.
He hasn't said it. We have just been able to recognize that they're black belly sheep. We don't know. This is where we question is: did he purchase them? Is that part of the 1,000 that were sent?
And these people in the region are so close knit that you wonder if they knew about it, or how much details that they can, or what they can tell us if these sheep are confirmed, whether these sheep that are there are that the 1,000 are part of that flock that is there, and if they knew that was where they were going. But also when you ask these questions, they behave like when the question was asked about Bimpe, it is none of our business.
Mm-hmm. Correct. You know, that is what is happening.
Marcia, can I ask a question?
Yes, go right ahead. Yeah, hold on a minute.
Brother Bob, what is the status of the black belly sheep?
You can hear me?
No,
program in Barbados?
I'm going to tell you what he's saying. Go ahead.
What is the status of the black belly program in Barbados? How is the industry going? How is the farming program going for the black belly sheep in Barbados?
That's a good question to ask. Dr. Alleyne is asking, what is the status of the black belly program, the local program here in Barbados? Mr. Bob, any thoughts on that? We have 2 minutes before we go.
The new Minister of Agriculture should know, with all the grand plans that were pronounced the other day, tell us the status of those other areas. We had the sheep, what is happening with our local sheep here on the island. Those are questions that she can answer if she chooses to. She had mentioned a lot of big plans about food, and part of food is mutton and on our black belly sheep. Mm-hmm. So where does that fit into this whole thing? And at the same time, the minister was going to the supermarket and see the type of food that is being imported in this country for our people to purchase. When you go into the supermarkets these days, you look into the fridges, and you have to search through the apples, the oranges, the sweet potatoes should not have left the port the English potato should not have left the port. The conditions that you see them, and those are the things, along with the question about our black belly sheep, that this minister, who seems to be excited and exuberant about our agriculture, needs to answer.
Yes, very well said. Well, Mr. Bob, it's 10 o'clock, and I thank you so much for calling in. I hope with your busy, in your busy schedule, I won't say where you are, that you will be able to call in tomorrow night as well, or anytime you can call in.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, okay?
Yes.
Andre Worrell will be on dealing with some of the migrant issues and so on tomorrow night. I mean, Wednesday night.
And even if I have access to my laptop or a laptop, I would even try to join the program.
Yes. I'm going to keep in touch with you, and we'll see, because we know now that at least we know the call can work from where you are. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. We will chat. But thank you. And thank you so much. People don't know how much support you give to the Marcia Weekes Show, even though they don't see you. You really do. Yourself, and there's a set of you that really keep me on the ball and help with the content. And I want to publicly acknowledge that and thank you for doing that.
And I want to thank you for the education you continue to provide for our Barbadians, and an outlet where we can look at the issues and hold the government accountable, because the press is not doing it.
Yes.
The unions are hiding from them. So it's left up to the Marcia Weekes Show to educate Barbadians and to keep them informed about the issues. So thank you very much as well.
Yes, you're welcome. You are welcome. And I take that on behalf of all the viewers and the presenters on the show, because truly we do this as a community. All these ideas come from the people and the content of the show. So we give all the compliments to everybody. Thank you so much, Mr. Bob.
And have a good night, everyone.
Yes, God bless. Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Alleyne, well, we are 10:02, so I'll give you the final word before we go tonight.
Thank you very much for having patience with me and to tolerate my outbursts and my emotional problems.
We love you the way you are. We love you the way you are.
I can't be any different. That's the way I am.
Be yourself.
And the truth is that I tried when I was overseas to listen sometimes, but more often I was on the road. Between 6 and 9 o'clock, I was going left, right, or center, playing dominoes or something somewhere again in just a relaxed mood. But I was happy to be here tonight, and I hope that I was able to stir some emotions and to get people to think beyond their own personal interests and to look at the state of affairs in Barbados.
Yes, sir.
Barbadians, we are not in a good phase. We are at a serious juncture. I don't like to use cliches that we are at the crossroads. I don't know about that. I don't know about the crossroads. We are in a bad state. Our economy is under pressure. Our social systems are stressed. Our cultural norms are deteriorating. Our love of neighbor and community continues to degenerate into violence, crime, and antisocial behavior. Our elderly people are crying out for assistance. The young people are fighting themselves for recognition. And it seems to me that the government continues to sit in its special rooms and look outside itself, but don't see the challenges facing Barbados. I urge all Barbadians to stop and think, internalize your own role in this whole predicament, and find the strength of character and commitment to do something about it. You don't have to physically come like me and shout out and scream out, but you can help someone, you can go to church, you can pray, you can visit the elderly, you can join an organization, a youth group, get involved, because Barbados needs each and every one of us to come out and make a difference. Yes. This government has lost its way. I'm sorry to say that, but it really has. Good evening, and thank you for having me, Marcia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alleyne. And I'm hearing this from a farmer just said we need to give small farmers sheep. They are scarce like sweet potatoes, they said. So we that is something to follow up. You were asking about what is the local program, and you see the 10:02 this is being sent to me. So we're going to follow up on that and have that for you on Wednesday to understand what is the real state of the sheep, the black belly sheep program, local black belly sheep program. Thank you so much, Dr. Alleyne. God bless you. We're happy you're back. Take care.
Thank you. Good night. God bless.
Yes. Good night. Oh my goodness, that was wonderful, guys. I just want to remind you about the FIFA World Cup final that we're inviting our fathers to. Fathers, whatever the age, but you've got to give me a call because it's being catered 236-7000 so that we know you are going to be there. All right, make sure that you give me a call, spread it, and tell the people at work, at church. It'd be a great environment where we watch the football together. We're looking for some women to help with the serving. You know, we can do that very well. Help with the serving and decorating, etc. So it's not left on a few. All right. So we need your help. Okay. And we also need your financial donation. Very important. We need your help to make this event happening. It is a part of the Marcia Weekes Show, and this is our community outreach. We're building families, strong families. This is Elevate. Strong families, building strong fathers, strong families, and strong communities. God bless you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Corey Beckles. Thank you, Maurice Gaskin. What an incredible night. God bless you all. See you. Bye-bye. Love you all.
Hey, you can't party. Find another spot. Don't waste my time or lift up my cars in this parking lot. You're blocking up the traffic, a long line in the road. Yeah, this and that, the expletives, the attendants start to offload. Well, I was taken aback. I wanted to retaliate. Cause who the hell she talking to? Man, she can't be thinking straight. As soon as I went to wash she off, I see the tears in her eyes. With a trembling voice, she started to apologize. It's a chain reaction, nothing to do with you. Just a chain reaction of what I'm going through. Well, I thought I had it on the wraps, but I'm slowly losing my mind. My reaction to this chain of events had me in a bind. I lost my son to gun violence, brother in police custody. And on top of that, the doctor called with the worst diagnosis for me. It's not an excuse for my behavior or the situation, but it's mainly a result of a chain reaction. These problems back up like traffic and cause a chain reaction. Whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, miss, push the groceries. The belt ain't working today. My hand can't reach, I ain't hurting my back. They don't pay me enough, but hey, I ain't lifting up no detergent. Them potatoes too damn heavy. Come round and lift them up yourself and put them straight back in the trolley. Well, I nearly blow a fuse, cause this cashier had me so confused. Throwing both my things like she mad, but I ain't sign up for this abuse. As soon as I went to jump on the belt, too bad and start to cuss. With a heavy heart, she started to spill she guts. It's a chain reaction, nothing to do with you. Just a chain reaction of what I'm going through. Well, I thought I had it on the rocks, but I'm slowly losing my mind. My reaction to this chain of events had me in a bind. My child father, he just beat me. Mother, this morning put me out. And on top of that, I am pregnant and I can't feed another mouth. It's not an excuse for my behavior or the situation, but it's mainly a result of a chain reaction. These problems heavy like groceries and cause a chain reaction. You say, how the service out here, gone to the dogs. Whenever you conducting business, you're dealing with hogs. They're walking bound with problems and dumping them straight on you. Like customers ain't got issues, them dealing with daily too. We are carrying heavy loads and under mental strain daily. So who give you the right to feel you could treat people badly? Remember, we have no oil or gold, and we shake up running low. Hospitality and tourism keep we afloat. It's a chain reaction, all to do with we. It's the chain reaction of what we go through daily. Well, we thought we had it on the rocks, but we slowly losing we mind. Our reaction to this chain of events had we in a bind. Overworked and underpaid weekly, inconsiderate, inhumane boss. And on top of that, the bills sky high and we operate at a loss. No more excuses for we behavior or we situation, but we have the power to break this chain reaction. Make positive change in this country, the new chain reaction.